Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on NTD Television's Capitol Report. I'm your host, Steve Lance. President Biden today signed a declaration of emergency so that the U.S. can import more solar panels from Southeast Asian countries. This as there's an ongoing investigation into whether these solar products are being produced in China from forced labor. If so, that means the White House is ignoring its own anti-forced labor policies. NTD's Melina Wisecup has the details.
The White House today admits that the U.S. does not have enough solar panels to push forward with its clean energy transition, revealing in a Monday proclamation that, quote, roughly half of the domestic deployment of solar modules that had been anticipated over the next year is currently in jeopardy as a result of insufficient supply. Now, President Biden is pausing tariffs on solar products from Southeast Asian countries, including Cambodia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam. The tariff freeze will last at least 2 years, and the White House says this is only temporary while the U.S. ramps up its own solar and wind production. How long do you think it would take for us to be self-sufficient?
I don't think we ever could be self-sufficient. The fact of the matter is that you need to mine rare earth elements, which is about the most destructive environmental practice in the world, and the American people will not put up with that in the United States. If we are going to force the American economy to operate on solar power and wind power, we will be largely dependent on China. There's no way around that, and that's very dangerous for the United States and the rest of the world.
And Oxen Solar, a small company that prides itself on producing panels in the U.S., claims that these Southeast Asian countries are using Chinese parts made with forced labor while trying to hide their origin.
There's also the fact that in China you have slave labor, you have cheap labor. There's no way to get around that. Other nations have the same issue.
And right now these countries are being investigated by the Commerce Department for potentially funneling Chinese forced labor products to make solar panels. The White House today was asked if waiving these tariffs would undermine the investigation, a question which did not get a direct answer.
Can you just explain the administration thinking and how this 2-year pause and guarantee doesn't undermine an investigation into those tariffs?
Yeah, so the president is invoking an authority under the Tariff Act that authorizes him to suspend certain important duties to address an emergency.
The Commerce Department, as of today, says they're still investigating the possibility of Chinese-made forced labor products being funneled through these Southeast Asian countries, and that whatever conclusion the department reaches when the investigation is over will apply once this short-term emergency period is over.
So, Melina, this could mean that the White House is effectively not enforcing their own policy that's meant to prevent forced labor.
Yes, Steve, so it really depends on what exactly this investigation uncovers. That Anti-Force Prevention Act that you're referring to, President Biden signed just 5 months ago, and what that did was it banned the U.S. from importing any materials from China, any products from China that are suspected to be made with forced labor from the Xinjiang region. So what this now means is that if the Xinjiang region in China is sending those products funneling them through those Southeast Asian countries, and then we're importing them here to the U.S., that would mean that we're still allowing for those products made with forced labor to be imported into the U.S. without any consequences. And now this latest announcement from the Commerce Department says that even if they do, no matter what their investigation finds, even if they do find that those products are made with forced labor and sent to the Southeast Asian countries, that we're not going to apply those findings to that. So that pretty much means that we're just allowing this to happen here. I did reach out to the Commerce Department to find out if they could clarify this. I have not yet heard back from them, but we will be following the details here and be sure to keep you updated as more unfolds. Steve, back to you.
It has been another deadly weekend in America. Several shootings claiming more than 10 lives and injuring many more. Meanwhile, some lawmakers say they're confident Congress will soon reach a deal on gun laws. Lawmakers across the aisle are facing pressure to act on gun laws. Democratic Senator Chris Murphy and his Republican colleague John Cornyn are leading the gun reform talks.
I've never been part of negotiations as serious as these. There are more Republicans at the table talking about changing our gun laws and investing in mental health than at any time since Sandy Hook. Now,
Senator Murphy says he's more confident than ever that the two parties will reach a deal.
So we're closer than ever before. Let's see if we land it.
Murphy said that the talks are focusing on mental health funding, school safety measures, and modest gun control proposals. And his fellow Democratic Senator Joe Manchin is looking at two specific means.
Here, you want to look at two things that could have prevented this. An age requirement would have prevented an 18-year-old, and basically a red flag law that's basically intended to try to help a person get some mental help.
Today, New York Governors Kathy Hochul signed 10 gun-related bills into law.
We're tightening the red flag laws to keep guns away from dangerous people. And we're raising the age of semi-automatic weapons so no 18-year-old can walk in on their birthday and walk out with an AR-15. Those days are over.
This week, Congress is set to vote on the gun control bill Protecting Our Kids Act. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is pushing a deal to be reached by the end of the week. Welcome back to NTD's Capitol Report. I'm Steve Lance. Oklahoma is arguably one of the most pro-life states in the country. Governor Kevin Stitt recently signed into law one of the most comprehensive abortion bills in the U.S. We had a chance to sit down with the governor of Oklahoma to talk about this. But first, we asked him about the recent mass shooting that took place in Tulsa just a few days ago. Governor Kevin Stitt, thank you so much for joining us on the Capitol Report.
Well, it's good to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Governor, there's been a lot of attention right now when it comes to the Second Amendment. There was a high-profile, tragic mass shooting in Tulsa, which we're gratefully sorry for the families and the victims there. What is the temperature right now in Tulsa when it comes to the Second Amendment?
Well, I think, here's the deal. We're a state, I was thinking about this, in 1995, when Governor Keating was in office, we had pure evil in our state when we had that Oklahoma City bombing, and we lost 17 children and 168 adults. So we've experienced pain before and tragedy. We just need to right now mourn with those that have lost. And, Oklahoma is still, we think the Constitution means what it says. And there's violence in all forms, and we are a strong Second Amendment state, and we always will be.
When you say you, as Oklahomans, you believe that the Constitution means what it says, can you elaborate on that as to why we have the Second Amendment?
Well, I think our founding fathers got it right, that there are the Bill of Rights, there are certain unalienable rights, that life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and in this case, the right to bear arms. And so that is in our Constitution. It's the Second Amendment, and that's what we believe in Oklahoma. And as governor, that's what I believe. I'm a big hunter and a big proponent. We condemn any kind of violence. Of course, these things are super tragic. But again, like I said, it comes in all. Evil is evil. Let's focus on what has happened. What is the mental health crisis going on in our country right now, and the lack of values and integrity and right from wrong, and the young people growing up right now in a godless society. Those are some things that we need to talk about, and you can't just always react to, the weapon of choice was the problem here.
Governor, I want to switch gears a little bit. You just recently signed into law what some are saying some of the most strict abortion laws in the country. Some are saying that they're the most righteous abortion laws in the country. What was your guiding principle in doing so?
Well, first off, the Supreme Court, I just think we ought to say this. If the Supreme Court does what it should and gives this back to the states, the Supreme Court's not saying that abortion should be legal or illegal. It's just saying it belongs to the states or the people, and we 100% agree with that. And we recognize that some states may do things differently, but I represent all 4 million Oklahomans. And in Oklahoma, we overwhelmingly support life. And so I just signed a bill that basically bans abortion at conception. And, I can be interviewed by a million people in different national medias. And let me be clear, we don't believe in abortion in Oklahoma. And we think, abortion begins at conception, but you can have that debate. France bans it at 14 weeks. Socialist Sweden bans it at 18 weeks. But I'll tell you what, the states like Colorado that just passed abortion on demand all the way up into birth, I don't think there's anything more barbaric and more wrong than that. And so again, I'm proud to be the most pro-life governor in the country, and I represent Oklahomans, and we don't want abortion in our state. I don't know how much more clear we can be with that. In our state, we think it begins at conception, and I'm elected by the people, and I was proud to sign that bill.
We have a very fascinating midterm election cycle upon us here. Based on what you're hearing from Oklahomans, what do you think are some of the top issues driving those?
Well, I think the left has kind of gone off the rails a little bit. I mean, I signed a bunch of common sense bills, save women in sports. Basically, we're going to protect women's sports in Oklahoma. I can't believe we have to sign a bill that says a biological male is not going to compete with girls in swimming and track and field and in weightlifting and in volleyball. There's biological differences between males and females. And I've had so many young women come up and thank me for that. It's not controversial in our state. It seems like some states are listening to a very vocal minority, and they're changing what truth is. I signed a bathroom bill that basically says we're going to make boys go to boys' bathrooms and girls go to girls' bathrooms. And then we're also going to have a third bathroom that if you're not comfortable with one of those two, you can go to this other one. But we're not going to let a boy go to a girl's bathroom. And this is for K through 12 in the state of Oklahoma. It's overwhelmingly supported. To us, that's just Oklahoma common sense. We're not sure why another state wouldn't figure that out. But I have fifth grade girls and their parents just say, listen, my daughter was nervous to go to the bathroom in one school that tried to allow boys to go to a little girl's bathroom. And so we're going to protect girls in our state.
Governor Kevin Stitt, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Capitol Report. If you want to see our full broadcast, check us out at epochtv.com.